I wouldn't argue that.
Those would be competitive series. They wouldn't get wiped out by
put it this way.
Either of those.
You can't rule out a team with Damian Lillard on it.
Yeah,
you just
right.
can't. Like, he is on an all-time trajectory. The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook.
I think it's a fair argument that the Blazers got screwed, and if they don't, they would have won on the road against Phoenix with extremely high stakes, and they have been unbelievable for the past 2.5 weeks. Portland, and I know you buried them a couple weeks ago, but they stopped playing guys. They don't play 10. They don't play 11 guys. They just stopped playing guys, and they just went with their guys, which are and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Their starting lineups numbers were always good, despite their defensive failings and everything else. And so what they've done is they've just upped all those guys' minutes when things have gotten tough, and it has reaped them incredible benefits over the last couple of weeks. Now, it also does stand to reason that they don't need to make a play-in because of the way they're doing this. Because if they have to play in that extra game, and God forbid they lose it and have to play in 2 extra games, this is a team that's going to be running out their guys. You know, they're going to play McCollum and Lillard like 40 minutes in these games. They're going to play Nurkic as much as they can. They're playing, I think, would they play 8 maybe total last night? Including Carmelo, who was there when they were closing the game. But they've just decided we're not going deep into our roster. We are not going to play negative impact guys. We are only going to go as far as we can into that bench. And it's been like 7 or 8 guys, and they've been good. They have.
The Chris Vernon philosophy: don't play guys who suck.
And unfortunately, it got too many.
Yeah, and they've trimmed the rotation to 8, and they're 9-2 in their last 11 games with the number 2 offensive rating in the NBA, the number 12 defensive rating. So their defense has been much better. I still don't think they can stop anybody. I still think they're going to get pummeled in the postseason because their defense can't stop anybody. But there's no doubt that team can score points. We know that for damn sure, Chris.
Yeah,
like they're gonna be competitive.
How come you don't believe in their defense when it's been 12th over the last 11 games, including on the road against Brooklyn? Again, they were good teams that those and offensively potent teams that they played against. And yet you believe in Phoenix's defense, who's been 20th since the All-Star break.
I mean, with Phoenix, we've seen it over the course of the full season. I do have my concerns about the Suns for sure. But with Portland, we've seen not just this single season, but years of the Blazers defense struggling. And, you mentioned that Nets game, and I mean, they have Kyrie Irving playing. There's no Kevin Durant, no James Harden. It's not like this was the full strength Brooklyn Nets, and nor was
there was a whole trip though.
Yeah,
there was a whole trip that they went on after they had really, when we talked about them losing 9 of 11 and it was going all the wrong way. And I am a little persuaded they're off their numbers. Their starting lineup numbers have been great all season long. It's once they've gotten into their bench, and so what they did was they just don't play their bench anymore. I'm persuaded by that. You know what I mean? Like, you could say their starting lineup can't defend anybody, but their starting lineup's been like a plus 14 this year or something, which is the mark of what not a good team, a great team.
So do you believe in them to win a first round series? And like against who?
I don't know.
Could they beat Denver? Could they beat
I don't think that's out of the question.
Okay. Could they beat the Clippers?
Doubtfully. I'd be doubtful about that. I don't think it's out of the question. I just watched those teams play last night.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the question.
So it's very possible then, that they could beat Phoenix or beat Denver in a first round series. It's just the Clippers that you would want them to avoid, and you could see them going into a second round. That's fair.
Yeah,
I wouldn't argue that.
Those would be competitive series. They wouldn't get wiped out by.
Put it this way:
either of those.
You can't rule out a team with Damian Lillard on it. You just can't.
Right.
Like, he is on an all-time trajectory. You can't rule out any team that has Damian Lillard on it. It's just their defense. I don't trust them in a 7-game series, and I haven't all season long. I haven't for years.
Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But they're in a total must win against Denver, and that game this weekend just becomes monumental towards everything, because if they lose that game to Denver, all of a sudden the Lakers aren't playing, assuming the Lakers take care of business, the Lakers aren't playing in a play-in situation.